Hi guys, and welcome to How's It Rate. Today we're going to talk about the steel. Whenever you have a knife set, usually they include a steel with the knife set. Okay. If not, if you're not buying a set, you probably want to get yourself a steel. They come in various sizes, all right, and they come in various degrees of aggressiveness. The one that I have in my hand happens to be a fine. Okay, they also come in medium and they come in coarse. Normally they're made out of steel, therefore the name steel. But today, in this day and age, I've seen them made up out of ceramic material. I've also seen them made out of some sort of a composite material with like diamond dust embedded in them. The traditional steel works fine for me, all right. I don't know if many of you know, but these are magnetized. The traditional ones are magnetized, so when you're sharpening your knife, some of the dust or steel or whatever actually adheres to it, keeps it off your cutting boards or your work area. I don't believe that's true of the other ones out there. I don't think they have a magnetic core or anything like that. But a traditional steel, 99% of the time, will be magnetized. This part of the steel is your handle, okay, and this is a guard, a blade guard, so that when you're sharpening, I shouldn't say sharpening, when you're touching up your knife or refining the edge, you don't go beyond there and cut your hand. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with steels, this is not a sharpening device per se. This does not create a new edge on a knife. This is only to touch up the existing edge or to realign the existing edge. Now, I have a couple of pieces of paper here that I've folded in such a manner as to represent what a knife edge might look like if we magnified it. Now, this piece of paper, as you can see, I folded it, but imagine it straight, and that would be sharp. So if there was no folds in it, that would be sharp. But if you can see, I folded over one edge and it's going this way, and I folded this one and it's going that way. That's one way it might look under the microscope. Another way might be that the actual edge, that very, very thin edge that's created, they might be folded back and forth in this manner. But this is just to give you an idea, right? It might not look exactly like that if you were to look at it under a microscope, but pretty close, I guarantee you. So, having said that, what the steel is going to do when we draw the knife across the steel is it's going to realign these edges. So on one side of the knife when we go by, we're going to fold that back up, and we're going to fold that one back up, and then we go the other side, that one's going to get realigned. And what happens is that we end up with an edge again. Okay, so what we're doing is tuning up the edge, realigning that edge. We are not per se sharpening it. To put a new edge on a knife, you need to do either a grind on a stone. Most of the time it'll be 2 or 3 different degrees of abrasiveness on the stones, working your way from coarse to fine. And also we would be working with probably a wet stone, which means there would be water involved. We would wet the stone and move that knife across that stone at about a 20-degree angle, and that eventually would create a new edge on the knife. Back to the steel, its only purpose excuse me, is to realign the edge, and you may see a chef use this many times in a short period of time. He may do a little cutting here and there, blah blah blah, and when I say a little, you know, a pretty good amount, and he'll notice that the knife is losing his edge, and he will realign it constantly on the steel. So, you know, steel, cut for a while, steel, cut for a little bit longer, and that's how you get the most out of that edge. At some point, you won't be able to do anything with it, and you're going to have to sharpen your knife. So, how do we use it? The knife and the steel, you hold the steel, whichever hand if you're right-handed, left-handed, I'm right-handed, okay, so I'm going to hold the steel in my left hand, and you notice I have right up against the guard, okay? And what you do is you start at the top with the heel of the knife and you draw it down, and as you're drawing, you pull that to yourself. Now, I'm holding it at about a 20-degree angle, okay? I don't know if you can see in between there. I hope you can. It's a very, very shallow angle, and that should realign that edge. And you do this on both sides, okay? Making sure that you stay on the steel. And by the time you get to the bottom, you're going to be away from your hand, so no problem, you won't cut yourself. But that guard is there specifically to protect your hand. And you can do this, you know, 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 times, whatever, depending on how badly it's deteriorated. And you will feel, while you're doing this, you will feel, and I feel a little burr there, where it seems to grab a little bit, and that means that you probably had a little problem with the edge. But that touches it up pretty good, and we should get a good cut. Now, I felt that little burr that there, it's still there, so it stopped and it actually tore the paper. But, you know, it's pretty good, not bad. It probably needs to be sharpened where we would create a new edge. It's a little dull. But that's how you use your steel, okay? Just like that. And as you can get better, you're going to get faster, all right? And it doesn't take long at all to touch up your knife. So, I give this a 5. You need this in your kitchen. You can use this on all of your knives, and it should be available while you're working in case you find your knife to start not cutting well. Bingo, this thing will take the edge and realign it for you. So that's all there is to say about a steel. You definitely need one, so make it part of your collection. Whether you buy a knife set, where will probably be included, or if you're just starting out and buying a few knives, at some point you want to get this steel. I use the traditional one. This is a fine steel. I have another one which is medium, and I have to be honest, I use the medium one more often than the fine. That's it, folks. Hope you found this informative, and if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them below. Until then, be safe and have a great day.